Howdy, Javad is here. In this video we are going to learn how to place doors and windows in Revit, and at the end we will learn about the columns in Revit too. And if you're wondering all of them in just one session, because this is the 5th session of Revit Architecture course for beginners, I'll put the playlist in here. You can go watch other sessions too to learn Revit. But if you're just here to learn about the doors and windows in Revit, you can follow along and you can learn it in here too. Okay, let's go to the screen, and in here I've modeled a sample unit, a small unit, and we want to place doors and windows in here. But before that, I've imported the image. Let's pin it and make sure that you don't select pins in here from this part, and it doesn't select anymore, and it is better to work. To place doors and windows, to place doors, you need to go to the architecture tab and build panel, click on doors, or you can use DR for shortcut, and then you will have the door families and their types in here. But because this is a default project, I just have one door, but we will learn how to bring new doors too. For example, let's select this one and let's place it in here, or let's select a bigger one, maybe bigger, this one. When you are hovering over in free space, you don't see anything because the doors and windows are host-based families. What does it mean? It means that you need to place them on walls or other hosts. But so you need to hover over your family on walls to be able to see the preview of it. So you need to have a wall first, and then you can place your doors and windows. To place it, just hover over the mouse on walls, and then you can see the preview of it. To bring it outside or inside, just change the location of your cursor, and to change the hinge direction, just press space to change the hinge direction too. And then, for example, let's place it in here. Click it, and then you are good to go. And even after placement, you can select the door, and then you have two grip in here. The first one will change the direction of hinge, and the second one will change the outside and inside part of the door. So let's change the hinge direction to this part, and let's place another door for this part. To do it, press the R or select the door again. Let's choose a smaller one for this place, maybe this one, and let's place it in here. That's great. This was our doors, but there are some options, and there is a note that you need to know how to bring new doors, for example double doors and those kind of doors. To do that, let's go to 3D to see the preview, and let's put it on shaded to see it better. These are the doors that we've placed. There are some options that you can choose in doors. For example, because I was in level 1, it placed the walls on level 1. But sometimes you need to have a threshold, or we can say we need to have a seal height. To adjust it in properties, you can adjust it, for example, to 10 centimeter, and this distance between the level 1 and the bottom of this door is 10 centimeter, right? Well, let's put it on 0, and also you can change the level of it easily, and that's not hard. That's another option that you need to know about the walls. And even after placement, you can change the position of it with move, and you can create copy from it, and you can do any modification that you've learned in the previous video on the doors too. And let's bring some new doors, because this is really limited and we don't only have single doors and doors with the solid panel in our building. First resource for new doors is Revit library, Revit default library. To bring new doors, go to the insert tab and click on load family, and go to the library of Revit, for example RVT 2020. Then go to the library, and let's select the English part, and let's go to the doors family. There is a tip here. In this video, I'm not going to cover curtain wall doors. We will talk about the curtain walls and their doors in another video, so don't use these doors you can see in here, but the other doors you can use it in any part you want. For example, let's bring this one and this one, and also you have some commercial door in here and also some residential door in this part. For example, let's bring this one, and let's bring this one and this one, and a double door too. For example, this one. Click on open, and the window that you are seeing in here, this is the family type catalog. Don't confuse yourself, just select the types that you want from each door. But from the first, let's select these. From the second one, two, and let's select some types from each of them, and let's click on OK to load all of them. After bringing new types of door, if you want to change the existing door selected and just change it from the type selector, you can see the new doors that we have in here with different types. You can change it very easily. Let's go to 3D to see the change. Let's select a bigger type. You can see this is the new door that we've brought to our project, or even let's choose a bigger one. Let's place it on a right place in level, and also we can change them in 3D, or when you are placing your doors, you can change the type from here to, for example, let's bring this one, and let's choose the biggest one, and let's place it, for example, here. And let's go to 3D. You can see the door in here too, and make sure your details are in high and in fine mode, because some of the details are not showing in medium and those kind of places, so make sure to put it on fine to see all of the details. I have another tip for you. Sometimes the families that you bring in are not the exact size that you need. It's not really a big problem. If the family is parametric, you can change it very easily. Let's go to 3D to see it better. For example, let's select this one, and let's go to the edit type of this door. You can see this is a parametric family, and in here we have width and height parameter. Just click on duplicate to create a new type. For example, let's call it 1 to 22 meter, 1 multiple 2 meter. And then let's put the width on 1 meter, and let's put the height on 2 meter. Click on OK, and now you have a new door with new size with the exact design that you've liked before. So that's not really hard to create a new door if the condition is here, if the family is parametric. So make sure the families are parametric. But maybe you are asking what we can do if all of these doors are not useful for us, and we can't create new families and create new objects. That's not a big problem, because Revit has a great community, and we have millions of objects, ready objects that you can download for free and you can use them. I have another video about the websites that you can download Revit family for free, but I will introduce some of them in here too. I will put the link for another video in here. You can go and watch that too after this video, but let's review some of them too. We have Revit City, we have Beam Object, we have this one too, we have CAD Forum, we have Modular, we have Arcad. We have all of these websites are great, but personally I use NBS and Beam Object the most in comparison with others, but other ones are good for some specifics too that I've explained all of them in my other videos, so make sure to check that too. Okay, that was the placement of doors, and there are some options in here. Identification, for example, you can mark them, and in scheduling the marks are really useful. You can schedule them by mark, but I will explain the doors and windows schedules in another video too. But we have some other options in here that are not really useful, and we have also some parameters for the materials in here, but when you've learned the materials, you can change the materials in here too. That was the door part, and that wasn't hard at all. And let's learn about the windows. For windows, this is the same, and there is no additional parameter in here. Just click on window in here, or WN for the shortcut. And by default in here I have three kind of windows. For example, let's select this one, and then we can place it wherever you want, and then you need to specify OKB or still height 2. For example, let's put it on 70 centimeter, and let's put it on a smaller type, and let's bring it in here. For the windows, we have two placement options to, for example, inner side or outer side of the window. For example, let's put this one in a inner side, and let's place another one in outer side to see the difference. Let's go to 3D and let's see the results. You can see the result is different, and the placement of the panel are different in two different methods. So make sure that you're placing your family according to the intent that you have in your mind. And in the windows, you can change the parameters too, and even you can bring some new families. For example, let's bring this one. For the families, you can drag the families into your Revit session, and you don't need to go to the insert tab too. You can do it in that method too. Even you can place your doors and windows in the 3D too, and then you can adjust the placement of them. For example, let's place this one in here. Let's put the sill height on 70 centimeter, and you can change the placement in plans too. So that's the way that you can bring new windows too. So that wasn't hard, was it? And if this video has been helpful so far, please don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and colleagues. It will help us a lot to create more videos like this. So that was the doors and windows placement part. Let's learn about the columns. Now let's learn about the columns in Revit. In Revit, we have two kind of columns: the structural columns and architectural columns. As their names explain, when we are doing architectural works, we use architectural columns, or we can say in decorative way we use architectural columns. But for structural works and structural elements, we need to use a structural column. By default, in our architectural tab, when you click on column, it will create a structural column. To use architectural columns, you need to click on drop down, and you can see the column architectural, and then you are good to go to use anything you want. But there are some differences between these two categories of columns, so let's learn about them. But before that, let's use a structural column, and then we will talk about the architectural column and their behavior. Let's click on column, and then in option bar we have again two parameter, height and depth. I'm gonna height guy. I use height all the time. So let's put the height on height mode, and let's put it on level 2. It will create a column between level 1 and level 2. Right now we just use vertical column. I'm not going to talk about the slanted column right now. And then in here, click on the family column you want to bring in. For example, if you have concrete columns and we have steel columns, you can click on load family and you can bring new columns. But make sure when you are in a Revit library folder, for structural columns, you need to go in here and click on a structural column, not the columns. Columns are for architectural columns. Click on a structural columns and then specify the material that you are going to work with. For example, I'm going to work with the steel right now, and then select the profile that you need. For example, this one, click on open, and then again you will have the different types of each column. Click on these and bring them in, and then you will have the new type of columns in here too. You can bring concrete columns and wood columns too. For example, let's put it on wood columns and this one, and let's bring it in here. When you want to place columns, it is much better to have grids. It will give you more freedom and better placement for grids. I will talk about the features right now. When you hover over your mouse to the intersection of each grid, you will see both of them will go blue, and you can understand the center of your column are in center of intersection. And you can use a space bar to rotate your column in different directions, and then you need to press once and your column will be placed, and you can do it manually for all of these by yourself and place them very easily. But there is a problem, and the manual placement is a little bit time consuming. So when you have grids, the only thing you need to do is to click on add grid in here and then select the grids that you want to place your columns. You can see the preview and the magic of Revit, and then click on finish, and you will see all of the columns are placed for you in a second. And we can see the columns and grids in here too. Let's put it on shaded, and you can see the columns in here. Even you can do it for steel columns too. Let's test it for steel columns. Let's click on column, and then let's select a steel column in here, maybe this one. Let's place it in here. Let's select a bigger one. Let's place it in here. But before that, click on add grid and select all of the grids, or even you can unselect one of them and it will ignore the intersection between those grids. Let's select it again and click on finish. And then, for example, sometimes you don't have some columns in some intersections, you can easily delete them. It is much faster in comparison with manual placement for each of them. So this is the recommended way. This is my recommended way. Okay, that's great. And let's place some structural columns in walls to see the difference. First of all, let's select this one, click on create similar, and let's place a steel column in here, and let's place a structural concrete column in here. Let's choose a bigger one and let's place it in here. What's the difference in here? The difference is in steel columns you don't have to do anything, and they are in here, and you can go on and you can put it on here. But in the concrete columns, as you can see, the wall and the concrete column are overlapping. To prevent from this, go to the modify tab and click on join, and you need to join these two manually to prevent from doing it. And now when I select the wall, you can see there are no overlapping between these two elements in here. So that's the difference between concrete columns and steel columns in a structure. There are not really other options, but we have the width and height in here too. It's B and H in here. You can click on duplicate and you can create a new type of columns for yourself. So that's not a big problem too. So in that way you can place your columns. But we have some columns that are decorative. For example, this one and this one. Let's go to 3D and let's see these columns. For example, we have some decorative or classical columns, and we can place it in our projects. To do it, to bring them in and to use them, let's go to level 1, click on drop down column and click on column architectural. To bring new families for this category, you need to click on load family, go to the Revit library, and make sure that you are choosing column folder in here, and choose the appropriate column that you want. I've loaded some of them, so I'm not going to load them again. So then let's place this one, for example, in here. You can see there is a big difference in here, because this is a architectural column. Revit will try to adapt the wall and according to the column, and it will give the column the exact materials that our walls have. But if it is okay and it is great for you, use it. But if it's not okay for you, click on unjoin in here and click on in here. As you can see, they are unjoined and they are overlapping. This is not a good place to start, but when you join them again, it will happen again. So if you want to have a completely different material for columns, you need to use structural columns. And if you want to do if you want to have something like this, make sure to use architectural columns instead. So that's another difference that we have, and we have some decorative and, for example, classical columns in here. But again, you can see the behavior is not that great, so we need to click on unjoin. And if you want to have this, you need to split your walls from the sides to prevent from having a awkward material, or you need to bring it, for example, in here in front of your walls. So that's the difference. We have another option in here that, for example, we have placed our architectural columns and our decorative columns. Then we can place our structural columns at top of the and inside of the architectural columns. To do it, you need to go to the architecture tab and then click on columns again, and in here we have add columns. Click on add columns and select the column, select the type of the structural columns that you want to place it, for example this one, and select the architectural columns, and you can see the preview. Click on finish, and now in the inside of the architectural columns we have our structural columns too, and this is a detail that in most of the case happens, so that's a great way to achieve that details too. That was for this video. I hope this video has been helpful for you. If it was, please don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and colleagues. I will put the playlist for Revit Architecture beginner course in here. Make sure to introduce it to your friends to expand this community. I will see you on the next session.